We do a Trump thing to this?
The Trump dance.
Yeah. If he were here, he'd dance with us, right?
You would hope so. He's turning 80 soon, so.
He's still moving and grooving, man.
Yeah.
How the heck are you, Mr. Zeke?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Hanging in there with all the crazy news and all the crazy things going on with our elections.
Absolutely. Boy, here and everywhere across the United States. Do you want to start off with New Mexico elections? How would you like to start the show today?
Well, let's jump into California and the elections there because it transposes over here to New Mexico very well. And,
I agree.
Let's hear what you got to say first because I think you know where I'm going to go with it. I think everybody knows where I'm going to go with it.
I tell you what. So, in fact, I talked to my a relative in California, okay, who is about Trump's age, and actually older than Trump, and has been following politics in Cali for a long time.
Okay.
Marine, conservative, Republican, and has seen it, from Reagan to how it is now. And I'm watching, we're watching, of course, the gubernatorial, and it looks like I think Hilton's gonna make it because it's that jungle primary, and the jungle primary. It's just the top two vote getters. So it could be two Democrats there or two Republicans. But it looks like Hilton might pull it out, which is good. Now, on the mayoral race, did you hear the latest? Now, I can barely hear myself. I hope it's okay.
No, I didn't hear what happened.
Okay. The latest on the mayoral is, of course, you've seen Spencer Pratt, and he's got all those great AI videos.
Yep.
I mean, that guy's killing it.
He ran a fantastic campaign.
Oh, he's just so good. If Republican races were more like that, because they show facts. They show facts. They really do. It's just in a good, entertaining way, and unfortunately, kind of close to reality sometimes.
Yeah.
But they're finding these mail-in ballots, and remember that there were no votes for him at all.
Yeah.
Like 0 votes.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking to someone here locally yesterday, and they had a theory, and it's probably a pretty good one, and you might be able to confer that when we had the last election and Yvette Harrell did not win, that perhaps that was a little bit of a practice session here in New Mexico to see that it would work in California.
Right.
And California also, as you know, as I understand, they mail out all their ballots.
Yep.
All the ballots. So, I mean, anybody could collect that ballot, send it in, and it still is counted, I think, up to 7 days. As long as the postmark is election day, they still count that ballot. So, I mean, it's enough that we don't have voter ID here in New Mexico. There are plenty of things that I'm not in agreement with the elections here in New Mexico. But I don't want to be California Junior. I really don't.
Well, it's funny you say that about, they can count it after. I just found out recently they can post date it by hand. You can post date your ballot by hand. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And they'll still count it, yeah. So
how do you post date it by hand? Well, here's the date I sent it in.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a complete charade. It's a complete fraud. It's a huge lie, guys. We've been living a huge lie here in New Mexico and California. I mean, think about it. If you can just post date your ballot, you don't have to be a U.S. citizen. How do they verify your citizenship with these mail-in ballots? They don't. So anybody can just go ahead and fill out a ballot and send it in for whoever they want, whenever they want. And the sad thing is, this is the main thing I really want to talk about here, is that the Democrats are victim to it massively too, and they want voter ID just as bad. You've seen the numbers.
Sure.
Because
we should maybe say legal residents with that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's the numbers I saw was
overwhelming. You're right.
Voter ID. It's like 76%, 78% Democrats want voter ID. And here's the thing, and I just saw it recently. The Democrats use it just like the Republicans do to steal primaries. So I've seen this last election cycle locally. I saw some really good Democrats. These are, I don't want to say moderates, but they're reasonable. These are people that I grew up with. Good people, business owners, they should have won. And these are people that could have passed good legislation, good regulation there at the county commission. I've seen it at the city council, state legislators. They push out the good Democrats, and they do it through these primaries. And they do it because we don't have no voter ID. And so I think that's a lot of the reason why a lot of Democrats want voter ID as well, because they've seen some of their best candidates go up in the primary and they lose to these hardcore radicals. And that just happened to us again recently.
Well, just to point out, Deb Haaland, what did she get? Like 72% of the vote?
Yeah.
And the other guy, Bregman, who said he will not support her, is at 30%. That's outrageous.
Yeah, I don't believe those numbers. I think they do that to like really discourage people who are against the system. They really go out of their way to backfill ballots, to make them look like they super lost, to discourage them, to dishearten them. And so I think that's what I'm saying. Sam Bregman had a lot of support. He had a lot of fans. I ran into a lot of Democrats that really they were excited about Sam Bregman, and I liked him better than Deb Haaland, way better.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So look, this voter ID stuff is a big deal. Really, you can't really do anything without voter ID, guys. I mean, all this other stuff people talk about, all the issues in New Mexico. Yeah, we're the worst in education. Yeah, we have horrible crime. Yeah, it's like big problems. But it all boils down to these horrible elections that we have. We really don't need to be wasting any more time fighting for all. We all know how horrible this place is. The reason why it's this horrible is because these elections are fraudulent. They're fraudulent.
Well, and also I understand that in our primary, New Mexico primary, it was about 24% of the votership showed up. So,
Right.
And a lot of that's on us. We need to show up for these things. I do want to mention, though, our good friend Juan Garcia, who past chairman of the CCIA, Coalition of Conservatives in Action. He was on the KTAL show with our buddy, I'm trying to remember his
Peter
name.
Goodman.
Yes, Peter Goodman, thank you.
Right.
And they also had the Doña Ana County Clerk Askin on there.
Yep.
And she is running for the Secretary of State, and she is going to be in the primary as the Democrat candidate.
Yep, she is.
Well, Juan, at the very end, they gave him like a last, what did we not talk about and want to talk about? And Juan mentioned, voter ID. And
Awesome.
immediately she started saying, well, that's absolutely not true. We require voter ID to register for voter registration. Of course, that's not what he was talking about. He was talking about when you vote, present ID to vote. And I just don't understand why, how you as an official would want to fight that. I would want that election to be as clean as possible. And I don't even know. They've won awards, supposedly, right, for being so good.
Yeah, you can.
But I don't. I don't.
Pay
I don't
for any
see
award
that at
or
all.
whatever,
And it's so frustrating. What I meant to do, and maybe you know the answer to this, but as you know, when you go vote, they ask you, "What's your address? Is that information correct?" What's your name, of course, what's your address? And then once you say yes, all you got to do is say yes. They have the little digital screen, and then you sign your name. Now, I could even handle, and it seems like with technology we could do this. Whoever's there getting my ballot ready could go and look, say, oh, okay, Alice Lada, okay, hang on just a second. And then they could pull up my original voter registration and see that signature matched the other or came close. Now, they don't do that. But it seems like at least if you're not going to require me to have ID, it's just so open for fraud. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me how so many people still don't understand it, or they don't believe that the elections are faulty. You know what I mean? It's like I see Republicans still, they've done studies that the elections aren't fraudulent. It's like, dude, you're a total bot. You're not a Republican. Why are we even having this argument? Like, I've witnessed voter issues myself personally firsthand for 10 years now. We haven't had ballots counted on the same day of a major election since 2018. Since Amanda Askin has been in there since 2018, every major election has taken longer than the election day to count the ballots. Meanwhile, France, Florida, Germany can count millions.
India.
Oh,
that's billions of people.
India, in millions in the same evening. But Doña Ana County needs a week to count ballots. I mean, that tells you everything right there, guys. And the fact that Amanda Askin is even running for Secretary of State, man, that's a big issue. And then Maggie Toulouse Oliver is running for Lieutenant Governor, our current Secretary of State. These people are in total cahoots with each other. They're the reason why this state is in horrible shape. Trump's got to do something. I'm really disappointed in President Trump, but I'm still on that trillion D chess kind of team because
he tried to get. I mean, the Republicans need to help. Also, that's I'm not trying to say everything's perfect. I'm not trying to say that, but it should be a no-brainer. It really should be a no-brainer.
Isn't it sad?
The states are responsible for their elections. We only have 2.2 million people in this state, and we should put so much pressure on our legislators to get that voter ID in. And California is terrific. What did they say? They found something like 872,000, almost a million, approaching a million ghost voters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And think about all the people that have left California. So to me, that even means there's going to be more, because are they actually going to cancel those registrations? There is no faith in the system. It's really sad.
No, it was mind blowing to see them steal it right in front of everybody. It was really just crazy. But I think, like I was going to say, the Trillion D chess.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Nah, it's cool. I'm part of the Trillion D chess club because I think people need to see beyond shadow of a doubt how bad it is before we can actually do something about it. And we all saw firsthand how they screwed over the mail race there in LA. And so now, even still, they voted on it last night apparently, and they still voted no on it. It was like 3 or 4 Republicans. Obviously, most of the Democrats ain't going to vote for it, even though the constituents want voter ID. And so what we have these establishing Republicans, establishing Democrats. They all work in cahoots with each other so they can, pump, welfare money to the roof. They can pump, war chest money to the roof. They stay in power, and the will of the people gets denied yet again. And it's just very disappointing. It's very disappointing to see how many Republicans are betraying the people, and it's obviously expected that the Democrats do that.
Yeah, it's too bad. I was sorry to make that noise, but there was a story about how they are exploiting the homeless in California too.
Oh, they do it here.
And and they have proof of it. Yeah. They have proof of it. It's just ridiculous.
Like, why are we building a homeless shelter down there on what is that, Picacho, or was it Amador? It's like, these people aren't from here. We're building housing for people that aren't from here. Like, we don't have the money or the finances to take care of the world here in Las Cruces. And then our budget, we came up short on our budget, like millions of dollars, because we're spending money on these homeless people that are getting exploited. They're on all hardcore drugs. They got to get on Suboxone and all these other drugs to get them off of those drugs. They take money off the top of their benefits. These immigration attorneys, we've caught them doing that in other states as well. Imagine they're doing it here. I mean, it's just so sad how bad things have gotten in this country, and they continue to get. Even though President Trump won, man, guys, are we not seeing how ugly things really have gotten in this country? It's like crazy.
It really is. Have you noticed? I was driving around yesterday, and it's really hot here now. Okay, it's the summertime. We're going to be in the triple digits.
Yep.
And I'm still seeing some homeless people out there, and it's every time I see a homeless person, I've told you this before, I say a Hail Mary for them, because some of them they're in bad shape. They really are in bad shape. And I almost stopped to give a guy some water. It just looked a little bit. When you're by yourself, if I had my dog with me or something, I would have. You could, but you just never know. And I thought, this is terrible. He was right in the heart of downtown, and a normal thing would be, and I have a social work degree, so I would just wish we could take care of these people, because we're not doing them any good by letting them just stay on the streets. Or like you say, if you build the stuff for them and they don't take advantage of it, and we can't force them to, but we need to get them off the streets, because it's not good for them, and it's not good for humanity. It's not good for our citizens. And it's not, as a taxpayer too, I want my taxpayer dollars used correctly. And you're right about the city. There's a headline in the Bulletin local newspaper, finding $15 million. It's really kind of disgusting, isn't it?
And that's no joke. $15 million, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money that could have been gone to so many good things in the city. This city, I had so much hope for the city when I was growing up, and I still have hope for it, but man, it is falling apart so bad. I mean, Chief Story is great. I think he's done this year. He's retiring at the end of the year this year.
No, are you kidding me?
No, that's what I heard. Yeah, he's leaving.
He's pretty young, he seems like.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's retired. Yeah, I mean,
but he probably has enough years to retire.
Yeah, he was in the Marines, and he joined the police force right after that. So he's probably in his mid-40s. So he's just doing really well financially, I'm sure. But I mean, why would you want to put up with all this cockamamie stuff here if you don't have to? I mean, that's what happened to the last good police chief. We had amazing police chiefs before. We were one of the safest cities in the country for a very long time. And as soon as this new radical city council took over, I think we lost like 2 or 3 in a row. They were like, Thank the Lord we found Chief Story. By some miracle, they were able to get him in there. Yeah, but without fair elections, guys, it's a big mess. We've got what's that stupid ranked choice voting?
Oh, you know what? You and I should go to every city. If we had the time, I would love to go to every city council meeting and just get up there, stop ranked choice voting. It's just a waste. I just can't stand that.
And I'm not ragging on Democrats anymore like I used to, because I was always really hard on them. And I've recently met some badass Democrats. They're just loyal to the party, but they are understanding and cognizant of how horrible these radicals are. They're not switching parties. They're not going independent, not going Republican, but they're actively working with independents and Republicans to purge these progressives and these radicals out of there. And there's a lot of those Democrats. There's a lot of these conservative Democrats that I've met recently.
Do you think they can be successful? I mean, you know these people.
No. And I've been trying to tell them. Here's where they're hard-headed, is they don't understand how this is why I opened up the show with they steal the primaries from these guys too. The primary elections are where they steal elections as well. So they're trying to get these good Democrats in there, and they lose every time to these radicals. And so once they get on board with, and a lot of them have, I've converted a few conservative Democrats. You know who you are out there, and they understand that these elections are fraudulent, and then we can't get anywhere unless we fix these elections. So I have hope in them, but I know not all Democrats are created equal. There's some good ones still out there, although President Trump's numbers are tanking because of the economy, because of the Iran war. We all know that. But even worse still is the Democrat Party. Their polls are even worse than President Trump's. So we're in this really weird space right now, guys. It's a very strange time to be alive.
And you're right about the president numbers. I just saw Rasmussen. I think it's, they had him at 40%, I think. So,
Okay,
and you know, some have it lower, but I always think it's probably a little higher because I don't think that conservatives, Republicans are polled as much either. Even Rasmussen, I trust their polling. Don't get me wrong.
I trust their polling too.
It's very easy because, you know, it's not easy right now in our economy. It isn't. But, you know, we have hope and we do the show because I really still believe get informed if you can get as much informed as possible. And if you still feel the way you do, and I think some of it is feeling and maybe not reasoning, unfortunately, I don't know what more can do for you. There are, as you say, I've been back about 4 years here in Las Cruces, and there are still friends that I've reconnected with. They still are a Democrat, okay? That's how they vote. But they don't necessarily vote for Democrats. They vote, when the general elections come up, they vote conservatively and Republican. So I understand, and some of it, it's very interesting, the different reasons that they stay Democrat. Have you heard this? I mean, well, you know, if I was a Republican or independent, my family would get mad at me or things like that. It's just very interesting that you'd be afraid to change your party. You ran across that. You talk to more than I do.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of them like that, and a lot of people just don't care enough, you know, and that's the apathy and the lack of really, you know, morals and values of what really founded this country. I think a lot of people just don't have any patriotism. People are just so caught up in their phones and the TV and their job. If you walk around today, guys, you can see everybody's asleep, man. I was thinking about that today on my way over here. I'm like, all week this week, I've been running into people, you know, going to the store, and I just see people like they're not all there. It's very sad. Like I've never seen a population like this, and maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me.
And you're not talking about people on drugs or something. You're just talking
just
normal, everyday people.
normal, mundane. They just don't seem very connected at all. They seem very distracted. They're not like you can tell when you look at someone.
They're
in
not
the
alert.
Yeah, you can tell when you see someone in their eyes and the way their eyes move and the way their eyes, you know, their feedback. And there's just not much of that, man. It's so sad. They've watered down the human race. America's the last place for freedom, guys. Everywhere else in the world is screwed over bad. I mean, they're bad. Look at England. Look at Ireland. They're killing white people like crazy right now. They're attacking white people. You know, it's tough to be a white person right now. I just saw a guy try to behead someone in Ireland. You know,
Oh my gosh!
yeah,
in Ireland.
and so yeah, our populations are dwindling, and this is all very patternistic. We're in the fourth turning. This is our fourth 80-year cycle, so a lot of big changes are coming down. And you know, all I can think of is just get as close to God as you can. You know,
That's you know, that is our weapon. That we have to do that. The other thing about the New Mexico primary is this was the first time we had a semi-open primary, which meant if you were an independent, you could go to the polls and ask for a Democratic or a Republican ballot. And I believe it was about 75% they chose a Democrat ballot, which that was very interesting.
not really.
The other thing that I was going to ask you is we do have, I think he's still trying to get on the ballot, the former mayor, Miyagishima. Oh, he's now Ken Gallegos.
Gallegos.
He's using Gallegos, which I've never seen that happen before. Have you?
I think it's kind of cool. You know, I think it's kind of cool they did that.
Miyagishima. I'm probably mispronounce his name. I always do. I just wish that it'd be consistent. And I get it. I understand. You know, he's trying to play the Brown angle. I understand.
He's your traditional old school, you know, Mary Quimby from The Simpsons style. From the, you know, he's a quintessential old school politician. You can't put stuff like that past him. He's going to do it, and you know, he did it, and he's still tanking in the polls. But you got to respect the fortitude of that guy.
He's still trying to get signatures. In fact, I remember now I read a story that he's trying to get them to lower the amount of signatures. And I think Gene Pettit is still trying to get
Yeah.
signatures. He's running as independent as well.
Yep, that's right. And you can do it. I remember Karen Bedonia last go around. She was able to get signatures.
Oh, she's libertarian, right?
Yeah, she moved over. She didn't make it on the Republican ballot, so she moved over. She made signatures because it goes off of how many people voted in the last gubernatorial election. So it should be quite low for the independents or libertarians or whatever. I hope he does get in there. I think it throws a good little wrench in, and he has no chance of winning. But I think it makes things a little more interesting. And you know, without voter ID, we're not going to win anything either, guys. Deb Haaland, consider her the victor.
Well, so let's say that Ken gets in and Jean too. How will that affect the race? Will that pull more votes from the Dems or the ours?
It's negligible. It's less than 1%. That's what I would care Bedonia last round. It was like less than 2% of the vote.
You don't think that those guys are a little more popular? I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, I'd say they might, well, you know, for sure, the Miyagishima is way more popular than either, you know, Pettit or Bedonia was. So he can probably garner 3-4% tops. I mean, he's not going to get past 5%. There's no way. I mean, there's just no way. He would have to invest millions of dollars into his campaign to get closer to 10%. You know, I think if President Trump could come over here and endorse, you know, Mayor Hull, I think we have a good chance. If
he hasn't done that, right? Not yet.
Well, here's the thing: is what I learned is Mayor Hull is not MAGA. He doesn't support Trump. He's never supported him. He's always been anti-Trump for the most part.
Really?
And so for him to even say he's MAGA now would be like, well, where were you back then? So he's in a really tight spot because right now the Democrats are trying to hammer him and say, hey, you're just going to be a Trump supporter. You're just MAGA. And he can't say he is or isn't because he's been, you know. But I still want him to win, you know.
What's your advice to him? I mean, I'm thinking if I were running, he'd have to be honest and truthful, like you say, if there's things in his past that point to him not being in full support of MAGA. But, however, how would you advise him?
He needs two things to win. He needs voter ID, and he needs to put on his Trump hat. That's the only way he's going to win.
Well, I agree.
You know what I mean? So we can assume that President Trump's going to help the midterm elections because of, you know, Congresses and everything. He needs to have control and everything. So we can assume that we will have voter ID by then, by the grace of God. Secondly, he's in a lose-lose. You know, his only chance, no matter what he does, is if President Trump does come around here and endorse him. So he might as well put on that Trump hat, irrespective of the fact that he has supported him in the past. Just overrun that history and just put on the MAGA hat, and he's Mr. Trump now.
Well, and I think you bring up a really great angle because if you push the fact that Trump is all about voter ID and Hull needs to be the same, we're on the big same page here because that will bring back the legitimacy of our elections, and it's so needed in New Mexico. On that alone, if I'm thinking if I were on a D, it would help me to vote for Hull. And Holland, I mean, I've tried to listen to her a couple of times and tried to get that. And somebody even just put like together a little video or a soundbite, and everything was, she really couldn't answer questions completely. And it's not like she's a newbie. I mean, she's been within the government. Was she the Secretary of Interior or something like that?
Secretary of Interior. She was a
she
former
should know her
congresswoman.
stuff.
I mean, geez.
Right? What's the excuse?
Totally been propped up.
They're also saying that she actually is from Winslow, Arizona, and she's trying to make herself Miss New Mexico. You know, so
Yeah, she ain't even from around here.
we need to just, I always feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zeke, but it seems like every election, I think, man, we got a lot of ammo. We got plenty of stuff against our Democratic friends because of the things are. Here's the facts, here's the history, and do we just not exploit it correctly enough? You know, do we need to be like the Spencer Pratts of the world and get those videos and just hit it hard? Is that enough?
I'm going to go back to a point you made. I think that was a brilliant point that Hull put on his MAGA hat and just champion voter ID because that would pull a lot of Democrats because we know Democrats want voter ID. That would be the best thing for him. But, you know, the thing about Spencer Pratt is he's very down to earth. He's with it. He threw the dice on some campaign strategists that understood what it would take to get people energized. And that's a very unique personality to do that. We haven't had that pool of talent here in New Mexico. I mean, let's look at the last three candidates. And I'm going to be very critical of all three. Okay, everybody knows here I was very supportive of Duke Rodriguez, but I'm going to be very critical of all three right now. We had Duke Rodriguez, who had really bad residency issues. That really hurt him. He probably shouldn't have ran.
It bothered me the most of anything. People were complaining about the cannabis thing. I didn't even care about that.
Yeah.
You're right.
It didn't bother me so much. You know, I just think he should have ran again later when that wasn't an issue. I think it became an issue because they made it an issue. But
When he was more solid with that.
for me, morally, it didn't bother me. I mean, look at Deb Haaland, you know what I mean? So that was big problems with him. He had a lot of dirt in his background, Mr. Rodriguez did. He really did. And then you go to Doug Turner. I mean, for crying out loud, he was getting paid to jab people up. Every day, more and more comes out about how harmful they were to children and people and humanity in general. We couldn't have a guy like that running this state. Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be? I can only hear Joe Rogan and all these other guys right now saying, wow, the governor of New Mexico was a jab pusher. How incredible is that? It's embarrassing. So we couldn't have him in there. It's thick skin. I do respect Mr. Turner. He had very thick skin because I hammered that guy. He took it like a champion. He had very thick skin. And then we've got Greg Hall, who tried to get rid of voter ID right before he ran for governor. You know, he abstained to vote. You know, he appointed a Democrat individual to city council. And so he never supported President Trump, never really a MAGA person. So now he's in this really weird space where, like you said, I agree with you. If he champions voter ID, champions President Trump, he'd be in really good shape. But he can't do either now, you know?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But still, all in all, he is still the better candidate. He really is.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to try to get him elected because I really want New Mexico to have a Republican governor.
Me too.
I really do. It's very, very necessary. I want to tell you, so when the election was happening, I was looking at the different county results for the gubernatorial election. And of course, Hull, because he's from Rio Rancho and Albuquerque, and that's kind of, if you live in Arizona, I just see that example because I lived in Arizona. The Maricopa has all the people there. So pretty much a lot of times if they win in that county, they probably win the state. But if you go to all the other counties that are pretty rural, Turner was beating Hull by 10, 15 points, sometimes more. So that was very, very interesting. But I do think that Turner's people, they're going to go for Hull. I can't see them going anywhere else. Duke's people as well.
Yeah, I'm supporting Hull all the way, you know.
We need to show up. There still were just not enough voters that showed up. But we need to show up and go after the independents as well, too.
I think they rigged it for Hull. I mean, nothing that he was a part of it, but I think they looked at everything and they said, Hull's going to be the better guy for Holland to go against. Turner has ties to Trump. He's got money. Really? He's already really popular. He just jumped in the race late. Holland would have had a way harder time against Turner than Hull. I mean, just optically as well, you know. So
could be.
And so because I saw Turner winning too. I saw him winning in the polls. He was up, you know, to the very end. Hull caught up. You know, and so it's a very tough to do politics here in New Mexico, guys. I mean, at this point, I'm where I'm just going to be exposing the election fraud to the max. I'm going to be exposing the mRNA stuff like I always do. And hey, you know, the Epstein files, that's still a big deal to me. I have my theories about that, but that's something that we need to dig into. Those three things right there are really holding back humanity to the max. And somebody's got to get out there, do the hard research and champion truth on those things. That's going to be me. That's what I decided over this past week.
And that's a really good line, holding back humanity. That's, you know, we need to be all about that.
Yeah.
And that's why I you know, people watch us and you know, we get a lot of criticism, and that's good. I like that because that means that we said something to get in their head or make them think, and that's okay because we're not perfect. But Zeke has just been here a lot longer. He's followed politics. He's very active, and he still remains a man of God. I mean, that's just so important. We can't be without that. And that's the other thing. This state, okay, when I was growing up here, it was very Catholic and very Christian, you can call it. And I really do think the vibe is still there. But we do have to take care of that. We do. And if we don't, then we're just going to go away. I mean, for God's sake, our capital is Santa Fe, right? I mean,
yeah,
we have to just keep that alive. And that's why when we end our show, our podcast, Zeke always ends it in a beautiful prayer. And I appreciate that. And I'm going to take 1 second because I do the prayer warrior shift every week in front of the Pink House, which is an abortion clinic. Yep. They do pills. And
I love that you do that, by the way. I had
to say that. Thank you. And, you know, New Mexico has no limits on abortion, none at all. And people still don't believe me. So I like to say it every program because, believe me, there are no limits here. And we need to at least get rid of the third trimester. I think Turner actually said that. The candidate Turner said that. So we have so much to fight for and keep New Mexico. New Mexico is still a wonderful, beautiful state. And unfortunately, there's already a couple of people that I know, they don't want to stay here. And some are even leaving. And it's, what is it? Schools,
Yeah,
politics,
I've seen so many people leave
our
over the
beautiful
years.
state. And we don't need that. And we're losing population, aren't we?
Yeah, we're the only state in the country that is stagnant population. We're the only state in the country that's losing more doctors than we're getting. I mean, this is just an absolute not a good place to live in terms of quality of life. It's just not. And I've even considered moving to Texas, not too far from here. I just,
We thought about El Paso when we
it's
moved
tough.
back.
It's tough. I'm so far right. I'm so well known for being a Republican. It is hard for me to navigate politically here. And I'm trying to get along with Democrats. I'm trying to reach across the aisle. I'm not a radical. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, obviously. I'm just want, normal stuff, safer. I talk about this all the time, safer streets, better schools, better economy. But once they peg you as a radical, as a far right guy, it's they come after you. They come after you. So, and I've had really good friends. A really good friend of mine recently just moved to Vinton, Texas, because he got hammered. He was a veteran Republican, special forces guy, even, and he just got hammered in custody court, and hammered. I mean, just absolutely disrespected. He spent I think he said $300,000 to get custody of his daughter.
My.
Yeah, and
That was that here?
that was
locally
here in
in
Las Cruces. So he's like, you know what? I'm done with New Mexico. I'm moving to Vinton, Texas. He's building a house in Vinton, Texas
And
right
that's just right there by El Paso, right?
now. Yeah, because he's got to stay here for custody. But I mean, this the way they treat men here, the way they treat veterans here, the way they treat Republicans. It's over the top. It's over the top, and it's hard to explain unless you've been there. Some of you guys out there listening know what I'm talking about. You've reached out to me, and we wanted to kind of coalesce and stuff. It's obviously a purposeful attack on people like us in the way that they don't like testosterone. The far lefties.
That's the problem.
They don't like testosterone. But either way, I love this place. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I love doing the show. I appreciate everything that Alice is doing. I mean, there's so much going on right here. I believe that we're going to get voter ID this next go around. We do have some good candidates coming up here locally. What else did you want to hit, Alice?
Well, and while we're still talking about New Mexico, I will read our state party put out a statement, and just I underline this. Democrats have, this is after the primary election, Democrats have presided over an outrageous doctor shortage in nearly every New Mexico county, and our public school systems are in terrible shape, number 51, as we know it. The hardworking families of our state just want safe communities, lower taxes, less government infringement on their lives. I mean, that should be universal among all of us who live here. But those things are really important, and that's why I remain a Republican, because it would be very easy for me to just be an independent or whatever, and not be involved, not be engaged. But I think it's important to stay a Republican because we still have those values, and we want to promote them. And I've been one for so long, it'd be hard to do anything else, I think. But I'm glad that you are staying here. And you're right, because even when we were moving back and we started learning about how things were working here and the politics were going, I thought, well, maybe we should, my husband's from El Paso, and we still have a lot of friends there. We could just move there. We'd be in Texas, and it's not that far. It's 45 minutes an hour because all my family's here. But I love the state, and it's worth saving. And our community, Las Cruces, this was just a fantastic place to grow up in. And we just have to get it back. We have to get our community back. I'm going to fight.
El Paso's awesome. I spent a lot of time in El Paso now. They got great food over there, great culture, economy's booming. It's just a really crazy, flip of reality when you go from here to there. It's like, man.
And I lived there, right before we moved to Arizona, and they have improved. It is. What's a good way to say it? The downtown has been cleaned up. It's a dynamic city. There's a different energy there now than there was several years ago.
No, it's a cool place.
No place is perfect. And the fact that it's in Texas, who knows? But I hope we don't lose you to Texas. But it'd be very easy.
Well,
a lot of people live in El Paso and they work here.
Here's my reasoning. All right. So look, if it's too far gone here, then I might as well go somewhere where I can help reinforce the fort, where they have fair elections, where my way of thinking is more appreciated. And wherever, if I go anywhere that's hard red, like Cloudcroft, I'm very welcome there. I'm Texas. I'm very welcome there because I'm a man of God, and I am a veteran, and I am an American first guy. I just straight up. I'm never going to change that. It's who I am, And that my philosophy is much more appreciated in these more red areas. And so I'm confident I can move to any red area and run for office and win anywhere but New Mexico. I wouldn't run for office in New Mexico. I wouldn't, not until they fix the elections. It's pointless for me. And I got friends running right now, so I'm going to help them to the best of my ability to win.
I think we have to do the, too big to rig.
That's what it is. It's got to be too big to rig. It's got to be too big to rig.
And get involved. Our good friend Joan Scherer from CCIA, she is very involved with elections. And if you want to get involved as far as being an observer, a challenger, or something, she's the person. Contact her. Shoot me a text or message me, and I'll put you in touch with her. But we just don't have enough conservatives out there doing that. And if we did, it might make a difference. It makes it harder to do. And she's got a story of her own that, she's had, and other people do too. When you start talking about this subject, our good friend William Bierman, who's also another chipster friend of ours, he has a good story to tell where, in effect, they try to be the challengers or the observers, and little things get in the way. Have you ever done that? I've never been one here.
No, I've never been a challenger or stuff or a poll watcher, but I always hear horrible stories about it. I mean, that's where we lose a lot of Republicans because they had such bad experiences with these elections and stuff and with the party chair that they just leave the party or even move towns. I've seen a lot of poll challengers, poll watchers leave town because they've just, the way that they were treated during these elections during the warehouse process. And on that note, we the Republican Party in Mexico is having a real hard time right now. Real hard time.
They are, and the stories that I was talking about, it was complications coming from the county clerk's office itself. But maybe we should talk a little bit about the GOP as well. We have a new chair now, Mike Nelson.
Right, that's right.
He's the state chairperson. Amy Barela, who was before, and we've talked about what happened with that. She did not win her election. I think she lost, was it 45 votes that I saw?
That's a tough loss. That was a tough loss.
And, we want to give her her due because she was a chair for a while. And we wish the best to Mike Nelson. But we have a lot to work on here as far as our party.
Yeah, a lot of work on. I still talk to a lot of SEC members, CCC members. These are people who regulate the inner workings of the party. There's a lot of work to do. Hey, you know what? I think that it's a microcosm of what's going on with the rest of the country. We've got to fix. We've got to rebuild. Things are getting destroyed, and we're going to have to come in there and rebuild. Look at Florida. Look at Texas. Look at the states who are successful as a model, and adapt those models. Why we haven't done that blows my mind. We should be hanging out with Ron DeSantis all day, and that's what they did, guys. Here's the reality of how we fix things. This is the reality. You got to register Republicans like crazy. There's no way around it. I know everybody wants to get like real gimmicky and shticky about it, like, oh, we can get conservative Democrats in there. Oh, we can just have Democrats vote for Republicans. The reality is the only way to really change this state is if we start registering Republicans like crazy. That's how Florida did it. That's how Texas did it. And that's the only way we're going to do it here in New Mexico. That's it. And then we don't have the party to back us up right now, but that's okay. Look at Charlie Kirk. He did tremendous, crazy amounts of beautiful work outside of the realm of the established Republican Party. That's actually why they didn't like him. And so we got to do the same thing here. We just got to register Republicans and go from there.
You're so right about Charlie Kirk. And someone was just telling me too. So New Mexico State University, they do have Republicans. They have a New Mexico State University Republicans, and I might have the name not exactly right. But evidently recently, I think Rick Renaud was telling me about this. They were trying to do a table event there at the university, and they were getting flack for that. And we need to step in and help our youth. We really do. And invite them and feel comfortable because that's our next step. And there are a lot of conservative young people out there because they're realizing, they don't want this life. They want to be able to have a good life in the future. And I would like for them to be able to stay here as well. A lot of them aren't even thinking about that because they need a future, and you can't blame them as well. So whatever you can do to support that, I'm hoping maybe, we're going to start having guests here probably pretty soon. And thank you, Zeke, because Zeke's the one that does all the technical stuff. He's the engineer and does everything and does a great job. But we've got to start talking to these people and talk to your, grandkids. As a boomer, talk to your nephews and nieces, your great ones, whatever. I've got a great, but he's only 5. But let them know, and you have so much knowledge, and you've lived it because they hear stories, and I'm sure it's happened to you But say, oh, well, I remember when somebody said this happened, and you think, well, wait a minute, well, that's not really what happened because I was there in front of it. You're probably already even starting to, because you've lived here all your life.
Yeah, I lived here most of my life. Yeah, it's only left when I was in the military, and so yeah, there's a lot of work to do. I'm not that discouraged. I'm a little upset with the way we let California elections get stolen. I'm glad that the gubernatorial is still there. The Republican gubernatorial. What's his name?
Steve Hilton.
Hilton. That's awesome.
Got to pray that he gets in there.
That's awesome. Because Newsom is terrible.
Oh, he's so bad. But I think Hilton. So it's Hilton and Becerra. What did Biden used to call that guy? Baccaria or something? He mispronounced his name.
That's right.
But Steve Hilton, he's just rocking it. And wouldn't it'd be really cool, the next governor of California, and he's got that beautiful British accent. It'd be so cool. I think that would just be so awesome. Miracles could happen. You got to keep praying. I want to shift real quick to a local story, if that's okay.
No,
anything else? Okay. So Las Cruces Public Schools, I'm sorry, they are going to be addressing perhaps a new dress code. Okay, so I think I have it posted, and we can talk to it a little bit more at length, but like they already had one, looks like yesterday, and they're going to the different schools, and they want to start talking about I guess they've got complaints about the dress code. But I have a question, and help me think this through. So all of a sudden, they're concerned about a dress code, but yet I understand that furries are allowed in there. So those of you who may not know what a furry is, that could be a student who identifies as a dog. And I think I heard even in one case, they allowed this kid to be on all fours. So I would like to address that first, and if they can include that in the dress code, maybe so. Now, when I was in school, okay, I graduated in 1976 from high school. And during the junior high years, that's when they started. We had to wear dresses. And they couldn't be a certain length. And that's when the mini skirts started coming in, like when I was in 6th or 7th grade. And I remember Mrs. Briggs from the 6th grade. Those of you who went to Conley School, if you remember, here in Las Cruces. And I remember her saying, well, and she had this really cool Oklahoma accent. It was really cool, and I wish I could do one. And she said, well, I'd rather that these girls be allowed to wear pants instead of these short skirts that they wear. Well, shortly after that, we were able to. But then it was only pantsuits. It had to be like dressy pants. Then eventually, by the time I was in high school, it had evolved to jeans. You could wear jeans, and even there were some halter tops. Now, I never wore a halter top. Never got to do that. But I can tell you a couple of bus drivers remarking about that. I won't go into that. But you probably had a pretty relaxed dress code, I would think, and as a millennial.
No, we were real strict. With baggy clothes were in. Girls were wearing pretty scandalous stuff. We had a really strict dress code when I was growing up. And I just don't trust anything that comes out of the public school system. It's gone. They're too far gone, guys. With the stolen elections, we don't have one Republican school board member in there, and they're all just awful. I mean, it's just.
Do we have anybody that's even close to being conservative?
No.
Not even one, right?
No, not even one.
How sad.
And it's like they got a $600 million budget. They're going to do whatever they need to do to take the election, guys. And so that's just another example of they're going to do whatever they want. It's a total dictatorship. I mean, I'm glad they're trying to do something about it, because I'm sure these girls these days are going and they're wearing freaking bikinis now. Imagine from what I went through growing up, what these kids see on social media and stuff, they're probably freaking crazy. So, I'm glad they're actually trying to do something about it.
Or the, guys dressed like girls and vice
Or like
versa.
you said, the furries going on. They want that, though. That's what they want.
And it's a word that you like to use, normalize, because a student that I know told someone that I know, said, well, she was asking, what do you think about that? Because this kid was dressed up like a furry, or was a furry, whatever. And it's like, whatever. They don't care, because it's just so normal now. They're making it normal. And I just feel so bad for our kids. But I want to let you know, so if you live in Las Cruces area, we're recording this show Tuesday morning. But you can still give them feedback, and they have to receive it by 5 p.m. on Thursday, June 11th, which is this Thursday. And you can send that to input@lcps.net, input@lcps.net. I'll put this on our Facebook site as well. But they are going to have meetings. The next one is actually today at 5:30, and then there's going to be one at Oregon Mountain, Oñate, right? Oñate, and that's also today, Tuesday at 6:30.
I hate to
And
say
that's it. You know what? That's
Don't waste
it.
your time.
Only four.
I hate to say it.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say if you can go and you want to go, and I think you can actually go Zoom it, you can comment and you can make your comments. Maybe you're going to say what Zeke says. Well, why are you doing this? Nothing's going to happen anyway. Why do you allow furries? Why do you do, it may not be, I think you're right. They've already made up their minds, just like the Cesar Chavez name change and things like that. But at least if you get up and speak, you never know who's going to be listening. And
it's great networking. I mean, it's fantastic networking, actually. I mean, we wouldn't be in this beautiful office right now if it wasn't for me going and protesting at the school board, straight up. So I met some amazing people going to the school board and protesting. But, I got shut down. And what I learned is they basically triple down. Whatever you want them to do, they'll go back and do it 3 times harder, just to prove a point to you that they have the power, they have the control. I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. So if you do, I encourage everybody to have, exercise their civic duty and get involved somehow. I'm telling you right now through personal experience, the school board here in Las Cruces is an absolute circus. I mean, at city council, I think you got a better shot. The city council here is pretty awesome now. They're getting better. But the county commission and the school board here are just awful. I mean,
and it's our fault. I mean, we had some candidates and they didn't get in.
Well, once you let these Democrats in and they steal these elections, you could never get rid of them. So we're the only thing we can really do now, guys, is expose the election integrity, expose the voter fraud, and just pray to Moses and Jesus Christ that we get voter ID and we get rid of these mail-in ballots. If we got rid of voter ID, got rid of these mail-in ballots, this country would be completely different. We'd get rid of the filibuster, and someone can actually make real, positive, long-term change. But as it is right now, this is all kind of just a dog and pony show until Trump either dies or gets out of office. And God bless him. I'm still a big Trump supporter, but he's turning 80 tomorrow, I believe, right? When? Soon.
Flag Day. Yeah, it's coming up.
Coming up pretty soon.
Coming up soon. I was going to ask you, do you also think, like I remember back in the old days when I was a kid, my dad actually got to get off early. He worked at White Sands Civil Service, and he got to get off early on Election Day. And I think it'd be really cool just have that kind of like election holiday, and then people could go vote, because that would encourage them. Because a lot of people say, well, I missed the deadline. And I don't know how you do that, because we have a lot of early voting here and stuff. But, it's hard when you work. Things happen. What do you think about that?
No, J.D. Vance talked about that. Get rid of early voting. You vote on election day, and you give 2 days off. You give the day off to vote, and you give a day off after to rest a little bit and talk about it. And that was his idea. So I heard him say, I was like, that's a great idea. If you can't vote in person, then just don't worry about voting at all. This mail-in stuff is so ridiculous. I can only imagine the founding fathers were like, oh, what? We've got some mail-in ballots coming in still. We got to wait to get George Washington inaugurated. That's not how they did things, guys. That is not the spirit of this country. These freaking non-U.S. Citizenship verified mail-in ballots. That is not America. Not at all. That's terrible. No other country does that. Has mail-ins with no voter ID. No other country does that. We're the only country. I saw Elon Musk posted about that yesterday. It's
no other country at all.
No other country at all does that. Where there's no voter ID and they allow mail-in ballots.
What does that tell you? And how many states? Like I said, the whole state of California is mail-in, right?
But just think about it logically. You have no voter ID and you have mail-in ballots, and they can be counted up to a week after the election or longer, months. What does that tell? How could you miss that?
You could go maybe work at a nursing home or something, and you have you get close to 10 or 12 people. Oh, let me help you with that. Well, go ahead and sign it. There are just too many opportunities. Too many things. And I'm not saying, I know of a nursing home here, because I don't. But I'm just thinking there are too many opportunities to do that. Even the ballot harvesting, when they would go to the different houses.
Yeah.
And go, can I take your ballot?
That's right.
Can I turn it in? How do you know it's really going to be turned in? You don't even know that person. And so many people, oh yeah, please take care of it for me. Come on, America. Be a good citizen. Remember your civics. Do they still teach civics? Do you know?
I doubt it.
I have so many questions.
I doubt it. It's like everybody's so damn dumbed down. It's so sad.
Okay, what have we not covered, Zeke, that we need to cover in today's show?
the thing about Erica Kirk is that she's fucking weird.
Oh, tell me, I don't know anything about this.
I mean, I learned more about it recently, and it's like, okay, as soon as Charlie dies, all she does is like defend Israel on everything. That's all Turning Point. Turning Point when Charlie was there was, pushing God, pushing Christ, registering Republicans, and bringing people together, right? And debating people publicly. That's what he did. Yeah. They're doing nothing of that now. And all she does is promote Israel. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm not, Rodriguez, the boxer, I'd listen to him and he's real funny. He's not like Nino. He's not like Candace. She gets crazy with Erica Kirk, but she's just fucking weird. And I'm disappointed about where Turning Point is because we went to their event and we had a really good time.
Fest.
Went to AmFest.
We didn't go to the last one, which is probably good because that was after Charlie had passed away. But those have been phenomenal in the past. Phenomenal.
I want to pray on that. I want that to come back somehow. I miss that guy. I miss him. And I'm very I'm not saying Erica did anything, but she's freaking weird.
I haven't kept up with her side of it, but I will tell you because I know some people that actually work for the Turning Point USA, like the ballot side, they're trying to get people to vote. Yeah. And I think that's still pretty legitimate.
Good.
They're trying to, as we say,
they need to
get the voters out there. But let's maybe by the time we do the next show, I can find out a bit more about that. But no, it's Charlie was so fantastic. I miss him so much.
They took him out for a reason.
Oh, they had to.
He's so powerful.
They had to because they knew that he was getting there. He was you talk about educating people. Man,
he was so powerful.
Great.
I miss him. I miss the hell out of that guy.
I miss if you were subscribed, the little pop-ups that come out and it'd be like 60 seconds. Yeah. And he would be debating somebody. And he was always polite and always knowledgeable. And I don't know who comes close to that in that world.
Myron Gaines is trying to do it, but he's doing it more with red pill stuff and like female-male dynamics because that's a big problem that we're trying to fix right now. I mean, nobody's getting married, nobody's having kids. Yeah. And so there's a guy, Myron Gaines, on the Fresh and Fit show. He's doing what he can to educate men and women on, good interrelationship dynamics. And he's going to college campuses and doing it. And he talks about some America First stuff too as well. But and he's got balls, he's out there just like Charlie, freaking, it's pretty dangerous. But, aside from that, I really just, I have a lot of faith in this country. I don't think we're out for the count yet. President Trump needs our help for sure. And with Turning Point, it's like the whole Israel thing is tough, guys. You hear, President Trump is like, he's over Netanyahu. He's done with that. And they're trying to make it illegal to criticize Israel at all. I don't know if you saw that. And they're trying to give Israel full control of our military.
A headline. Who's doing that? Who's pushing that?
The Senate and Congress.
Certain Republicans?
And Democrats.
Do you know who?
Yeah, AIPAC funds over 70% of the House, including Republicans and Democrats. And so Trump's finally getting away from Netanyahu. He never liked him. Netanyahu was the first person I called Biden when he won that 2020 election. But it just seems like my slack with President Trump is that we've had the swamp inundated with it for decades. He's dealing with it, and we got to just back him up at this point, guys.
Yeah, he's still working on cleaning that up, and it's messy and ugly. And this is just his second year. And it's his second year back. And
real quick too, Nino put out a warning, and I've got a weird feeling in my gut too. And other main guys I listen to as well, their false flag is probably going to be coming about here pretty soon. The evidence points to, a lot of people that are in power now had a lot to do with 9/11. And I've just been seeing a lot of warnings about traveling online. Even Nino said something about it. There's a lot of military activity everywhere right now. A lot of really weird stuff going on militarily. It's not a good time to travel.
You should always have your alert up. And for those of you that don't watch us, watch us and you're not from this area, it's Nino Rodriguez.
Nino Rodriguez, love that guy.
And you can find him on Facebook. He does a really good job. You know who else I really like too is Elias Cisneros.
Oh yeah, Elias, yep.
He does really good stuff, and he follows a lot of politics and interviews. I think he's up in Albuquerque.
Yeah, he's in Albuquerque. Yeah.
And is he Nino El Paso?
He's in El Paso, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these guys are the best thing that I've seen close to the old talk radio. They're good analysts, and I think they care about our country. And they happen to be Latino, which to me, I like that because a lot of people still think that we don't pay attention, but we do. We do.
Yeah, you got to support guys that are out there doing the right thing. Speaking truth. My main issues are the three things I talked about earlier. I'm sticking to those things. I've done my time. Dealing with the school board, dealing with other issues and the crime and stuff like that. I think I'm pretty much done with that. I'm going to stick to what I think is most pertinent.
Well, I would love to put you out at NMSU. Maybe you should do a deal with the NMSU Republicans and just be there with their president or spokesperson and kind of do a Charlie Kirk type format. Because you'd be really good.
I wouldn't mind trying. I mean, honestly, at this point, I wouldn't mind trying. People have been telling me to do that for a long time, and I've thought about doing it too. I'm just like, to go to try to be like Charlie Kirk, it's a huge undertaking. You know what I mean? That guy was phenomenal. A super smart guy. I could probably give it a whack and see what I talk to people all the time, and let's see how it goes. Maybe I will. But the NMSU, they're radicals, man. They are tough. So and it's just college indoctrination. People don't understand that when you get the governor, and the governor can select their board of regents. The board of regents is who dictates policy with
the governor appoints them all.
Yeah,
I'm always learning.
The board of regents is appointed by the governor. So all these universities has been appointed by these radical governors for the most part. If you're in the left or a Democrat state, you're going to get a lot of this leftist indoctrination. And I talk to women all the time. They're feminists, and they don't even know they're feminists. They don't like men. I argue with women about how women are just as strong as men. Okay, I have these arguments, and I'm like, okay,
let's bring some barbells out. Yeah.
And you're a registered nurse, and did you fail biology? And it's nothing personal. I love women. I'm just telling you, men have stronger upper bodies than women, and I can't tell you how mad these women get. It's the indoctrination from these universities. They really think that they
believe it. Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
It's not, and it's not good. It's not right. It's devoid of reality. You can't be living in a false reality like that. It's not good for your consciousness.
No, and that's why some of them think that men can have babies too, and
that's the beginning of it.
Menstrual periods.
And 2 + 2 = 5. Those are the beginning stages of it. It's a psychosis. That's not good.
I pray for the parents. I mean, my goodness, you have such a hard job. And those of you that are doing the homeschooling, thank you. Thank you, because I really believe a lot of that's going to save our country. But keep fighting and writing. I think, wow, we've been on an hour. What do you think? We did pretty good.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
I just want to leave real quick some good news. So economy is tough, you're right. But this is from June 5th. U.S. payrolls grew by 172,000 in May. Okay, so that's kind of some good news. And the jobless rate remained unchanged at 4.3%. Now, not perfect, not wonderful, but we'll take it. Just keep moving out there one step at a time. And thank you so much for watching us, for listening to us, for subscribing to this channel. And Zeke is just, man, he's just kicking it everywhere. Oh, somebody who told me, somebody here, I don't think I can mention their name, and they said, wow, my friend from another state was telling me about this guy, and it was about Zeke. I said, oh yeah, it's because he's Mr. Social Media. He's Mr. Social Media. So thank you for your support, and please keep talking about us and give us suggestions. And one more plug, Coalition, CCIA Coalition of Conservatives in Action.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing that.
6 p.m. Kitchen Craft on Telshore, right next to Rudy's Barbecue. Would love to see you there.
I've been trying to plug you guys more too. It's a great organization. That's how I got my foot in the door with politics for the most part.
That's where I met you.
It's where we met each other. It's it's an awesome organization. Really good, like-minded people, and it's actually very healthy for you guys to get out of the house and hang out with people like this. And there is stuff to do. With the community, there's always something to do. There's always candidates to support, and I will always support CCIA.
Thank you.
Because it's actually a blessing. You go around New Mexico and everybody says, man, I wish we had something like that here, and you guys have done a great job. I'm glad you've taken the reins over. And so that's it, guys. We love you. We'll get this show uploaded, and we'll be back again very soon, hopefully with some guests in the very near future, maybe next week.
That'd be great.
We'll have a good guest.
That'd be great.
And if you guys have any other suggestions, comments, or concerns, reach out to us. We get a lot of hate on the YouTube channel, but we get a ton of support on our Instagram and our Facebook. Ton of support.
Bring it. That means you're paying attention. We could do like a whole show. You were talking about the government powers of appointing the Board of Regents. Right. We could do a whole show on just what the governor of New Mexico has, so much power and everything that they are allowed to do.
Yeah, they can appoint judges.
You don't know. And if you knew, maybe it would change your vote of the governor. You just never know.
Yeah. Well, let's end on a prayer. Lord Jesus, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to the people of New Mexico and the country, Lord. And we just pray that you're with California, Lord. And we pray that righteousness and truth that wins in that state. And I pray for President Trump that he stays strong and he stay with the will of the people. And we pray for the world, Lord. We know the world is in a lot of pain and a lot of suffering right now. And we just, we want you to find your way into the hearts of all these people as much as you can, Lord. And, I just can't be more grateful for all the opportunities and all the love that you've given us here in Las Cruces. And Alice, and thank you for all of her spirit and her love and energy for the show and for the community and the CCIA. I pray that they continue to do amazing work for this community, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. See you the next time.
Later. So I didn't get any sleep last night.
You couldn't sleep last night because of your back?